Hey everybody, it's Brandy from Maritarotjuana. I hope y'all are doing well. Today's date is 3/26/19. So anyway, I told y'all before about Trevor's Tourette's and that I was busy. I was running him around and whatnot, blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, here we are. I got his results. I've been researching and what would work best for him. So he is eligible for a specific learning disability, and that has to go along with his reading and writing. But I'm taking that a step further. So I went in and I did some research and I came up with his learning disabilities, which, according to all of the statistics, this has to do with the Tourette, also the comorbids or coexisting or things. If you're not in the medical field, it's just two conditions that go together. It's like hand in hand type thing sometimes. But Tourette's, so when you have tics, that's one thing. Okay, that's like the tic disorder. But then when it's like exacerbated or exaggerated, or you have motor and vocal within a year, whatever. I'm not sure. I'll double check. I'm probably wrong on some of that info, but I'm just fucking winging this shit. So other than having his paperwork and what I remember, but y'all know I like to ramble on. So anyway, so 1 in 5 children have difficulty expressing themselves, through like everyday writing, learning, reading, whatever. So and 75% of these statistics are males or boys. In my case, in our family's case, it's a little boy. Okay, not a male, it's a boy because he's little. Young male, adolescent, adult, whatever. That's them. So this test that Trevor had is he did a what is it called? Let me see if I can say this correctly. Sometimes I like to ruin things. It's the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children, the 5th edition. Then they also did the the Wechsler Individual Achievement Test. Okay, so first they give them the test with like everybody else, what all these other kids are learning, blah blah blah. So his IQ, which they're saying it's low average, but I know the backstory. Trevor didn't want to go, so he just didn't really put forth too much effort, and that little fucker still scored an 89, which is in the 23rd percentile, and it's actually considered low average. They take long to retest, so, but if Trevor doesn't want to do something, he has no filter. He's like his mom, but I have life skills, so I know that you can and can't say a certain thing, Let me move this light because it's fucking with my eyes. Okay, so anyway. All right, so he had, what was that again? Oh, a 92 for his IQ. All right, 30th percentile, which is considered a low average amongst everybody else, the kids 6 to 16. So now in ISIS, my daughter who is 11, she actually scored 128 when she wasn't even 4 years old. When I took her up to Hershey Med. So, and I know that her and Trevor are almost exactly alike. However, she will perform when asked. Trevor just refuses to, which I don't blame him. If you don't want to do, you don't want to do it, but he knows that he still has to go. So he went and did it. Anyway. So he's average, just on the lower average. That's because he was being lazy. I really don't think that, I think he would have scored very high, but, anyway. To get from point A to point B with a person that's ADHD or ADD, like myself, it's hard, to stay focused on one thing. So that's why if you're going to do something, you just need to do it. It's not that you're impulsive. It's like you just know that you just got to do it because, like, you can't waste time. Because if you waste time, it's not going to get done, because we're easily sidetracked. So we know that. Even Trevor knows that. So what else? That's why when I'm going to be requesting a paraprofessional or a teacher's aide, because Trevor needs to be reminded to stay on task, because they might talk in the very beginning about a certain lesson and what you're going to learn in that lesson. But until you get to the very end, we're like already thinking about stuff. You know what I mean? So that leads us into back into the specific learning disabilities. So one of them, it has to do with written expression. That's actually called dysgraphia. That is a learning disability. It's difficult to like write. So basically, I can give you a story off the top of my head if you give me a topic, but to have me write it out is a whole other thing. So if I'm gonna write a story and I'm a kid, right? Oh, the only thing I'm gonna be able to do is just start like splurging all this shit on paper. Now, when you're a normal, student, you are expected to construct it, write it in that certain format and whatnot. Well, for some people like myself or like Trevor, that have a learning disability with written expression or even speaking, which is called dysphagia, that's really, really hard to do. So, with that being said, for the writing portion of the reading and language arts or English class, whatever the fuck they call it, one, I'm suggesting a paraprofessional just to keep Trevor on task. Two, that when Trevor is writing whatever topic, that he doesn't have to construct it immediately. He just, like it's almost like automatic typing or writing. You just spill the beans on all the stuff right then and there, and then you have someone go back and help you construct it. It's not that we're not smart enough to do it. It's just that like we're too fast. Like this takes way too long, like way too long. Let me get my idea out of there because I got like 1,000 ideas. Like, man, that's why I'm constantly making lists and whatnot. Even Trevor knows that, and he's making lists too. He's like, I'm gonna forget. If I don't do it, I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna forget. So, we're aware of that, but it's like the educators. I know that they are aware of behaviors and growing patterns and whatnot of the kids, but to remember 22 individual people's learning styles, not going to happen. That's where me pulling him out of that mainstream and cybering him had a lot to do with learning his learning styles and how he's going to work. But you know what? It's crazy, but he's just like me. So I should have known. But anyway, so what that learning disability again, in reading or English is called dysgraphia. It is a learning disability or difficulty that involves difficulty with writing expression, words, thoughts onto paper. Sometimes, like our hands, they can get tired. It's like a struggle to form letters, numbers, words by hand. Now that falls into the category of like dyslexia, even though we don't mix up like the B's and the D's. We just can't get our thoughts out on paper. It's kind of like the same thing. And again, I'm saying me because it's easier for me. It's easier for me to talk about Trevor in the way that I am because I know Trevor's not me, but Trevor and I are very, very much alike. It's really fucking weird, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I know my kid. You know what I mean? We have open communication. He tells me, I tell him, and that's all there is to it. Again, so when you hear people that have disabilities or difficulties like learning issues, don't think that we're dumb or, we don't know or we're uneducated or we're not intellectual. It just so happens that we have a hard time doing certain things, just like, a person like Isis, my daughter, she's legally blind and has a disability, a visual impairment or a visual disability, but she can still see out of her good eye. There's a lot of things. People, it's like you're wearing a scarlet letter. You know what I mean? And for kids that don't really know, it does set them apart, even though it's not like bad. A disability or a difficulty is still which means it doesn't belong. Like, there's something wrong with it. And kids are very aware. So that sucks a little bit. Hold on. I think my bestie's texting me. So I'm going to pause this quick. Alrighty, so let me find out where I was. Okay, so dysgraphia is like, okay, so actual dysgraphia, okay, is that disability that we were just, well, that we're talking about. So, um, also, people with dysgraphia may also struggle to form the letters and the numbers, words by hand. You may also have trouble like thinking and writing at the same time. That's not my issue, nor is it Trevor's issue. It's just remembering everything from 45 minutes ago because you got millions of shit, millions of ideas running through your head, and then waiting till the end of the lesson then to throw everything down. Whereas what I'm going to be doing, hopefully for Trevor, is just sticking that right onto the paper, not waiting. Possibly also like a dictation type thing, or what they would call a scribe. You just speak and it can write for you. Um, there are other things too that we're going to be working on, or some suggestions, but I just got off the phone not too long ago with the special education person. I just wanted, to find out what exactly they were looking for and what I'm looking for, because I don't want to waste time. I want to make sure that my kid's ready and raring to go. Even though he's not going to be going back to mainstream till next year, he's still going to finish out cyber, but there are still some accommodations that they can give us. Like they had suggested, like his projects, like they might only be like a 1 or 2 step project while he's still in cyber. But he's only in 3rd grade, so when he's in middle school and high school, that's probably going to change. But they're just going to tweak it. Let's see what else. Oh yeah. So anyway, back to dysgraphia. In really severe cases, some kids might be unable to hold a pencil, or I'm gonna lower this. Okay. I don't know why the fuck this light is like this. Oh my God, it's killing me. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, he doesn't have that problem with the writing. Um, but he can draw, but not that well. His hands get tired, and it's weird because for years I would like. So I have all these thoughts, right? So I've done the automatic writing and whatnot, but um, my hands, and I have nice, neat handwriting, but like my hands get really, really tired, like writing. So it's weird because Trevor's the same way. And it's like, what the fuck? Here, this is that dysgraphia. And I didn't even know it. It's just really weird. Okay, so I had to clean that. That was really fucking annoying me. So again, so occupational therapy, they might throw that in there for an IEP as well. They might also have like a tight or awkward pencil grip. That's why in preschools, like my kids went to Head Start, and they would teach them early on how to hold pencils correctly. So a lot of the times, early intervention and Head Start would come in and work with the kids, so they were able to detect any kind of like learning difficulties. Maybe they needed that occupational therapist, so then there wouldn't be an issue later on, but sometimes you just don't grow out of that, even with occupational therapy and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, tires by writing. So occupational therapy would be a good deal for that. Hands are sore when finished writing. That's a really, really true fucking statement. That's crazy. I can't believe that. Body position is like awkward, or eyes are too close to the paper. So let me, it's funny because when I'm like writing, I'll write like this. And I'll write, and Trevor does the same thing. And I'm not really sure what that means. It's just like, so you'll hold the paper on an angle, or you'll hold your pencil. It's like I write on an angle. It's like everything that I see, everything that I do, I can have a fucking miter saw, and it was, and the thing was like marked off, and I still can't cut a fucking straight line, or on an angle with, that square thing or whatever it is being there, or in a miter box, and they're giving me that I can't do it. Weird. Sometimes you have illegible handwriting. So I'm fairly neat when I write. But Trevor, I remember ever since he was little, it's like, hey, stay nice and neat, do this, do that. And, I feel horrible as a mom because, like, I'm a really good mom. I'm so, like, in tune with my kids. But I didn't even know that he had these issues. Honestly, I thought he was just lazy. He's a boy. And again, I'm horrible for putting my kid or kids or even boys alone in that statistical, stereotypical type thing. That's not nice. Whatever. It was an honest mistake. All right, uneven spaces. I forgot about that when you're writing. Okay, trouble with tasks that require thinking and writing at the same time, such as like note taking. See, for me, nah, I'm good at note taking because I'm listening and writing, and that's probably why like my handwriting is like nice and neat, but it's like fast, like really fast because I'm like throwing shit out as fast as I can, and then my hand gets tired. So I don't know. What else? Let me like this shit. All right, let's see. So and that's it for that one. Okay, so that's just like writing and um the other one, where's my other notes? It's called dyscalculia, and that has a lot to do with math. Okay, so just give me one. All right, I'm back. So anyway, let's work. Oh, dyscalculia, right? That's what we were working on. So anyway, dyscalculia, it's a term for specific learning disability related to math. Students or adults may have trouble understanding the real world meaning of numbers, like forget basic math facts or struggle with simple problem solving skills. Our learning styles, we tend to overcomplicate things. We actually, as people, if it seems too easy, then that's probably not the route, but it really usually is. So that's one of the big hinders of like people with ADHD or ADD or OCD or whatever. It's like if it's too simple, we have to complicate it. We overthink it. It's like, nah, they're not asking for that. They can't be asking for that. So anyway, 5 to 6% of school age children are estimated to have dyscalculia. All right, or I can't really say it, but I'm saying dyscalculia just so you know. Okay, so 60% of people also have problems with numbers. You know, I'm not a mather, but I can do basic shit in my head, right? That's why I can't even help my kids with math because the way that they teach, I think it's called like Common Core or something. I can't even help them with their math because I'm like, the way that they subtract, it doesn't make sense to me. I could do a lot of it in my head, but to explain it, to write it down I can't. I can't. And then to try to, what I do is when they're working on their math homework and they come to me, it's like, how dare you not help your kids with their homework? So anyway, I'm looking at the problem. It's like, okay, I'm like, okay, show me how you do it. And they're like, I'm like, what the fuck? You get the same answer. Why can't you just do it like this? Well, that's Common Core. Okay, but here's the problem. Okay. And it shouldn't take a child with a learning difficulty or learning disability, like, why, if they know how to get the answer, why do they have to show you? I get the whole understanding of it, maybe once or twice, but why do they have to show you? Why can't they teach regular math like they did back in the day? Why? Okay, just like the special education person teacher did point out a very good point. They're teaching nouns and verbs and stuff now, and that's great. But the math, like, you should only have to do like fucking geometry. Well, if you really need it, the basics, yes, but to make them pass a course to fucking graduate high school or just to, makes no sense to me. Like, why don't you teach them how to balance a checkbook or teach them how to write fucking cursive? Like, we still have to sign their name. They get like 5 minutes. I mean, like 5 days to learn how to write cursive. Like, it's fucked up. I think as a mom, as a college graduate, I feel as if people should only be tested or learned on what they need to. And if they aspire to be this or this, then they take those required extra classes. I don't understand why, like, we have to learn this. Makes no sense. No sense at all. All right. So, anyway, back to it. I had to calm down a little bit. I think it's a little crazy that we teach people shit that they don't necessarily need to learn. Basics, like I said, you need to learn how to balance a checkbook, how to cook. And yes, it is the parents' responsibility, which I teach my kids, and I'll be one of the first parents to admit that my kids are lazy, but I don't understand why as as much technology as much progress that we have made, I guess, like as a universe, as humankind, all right, why are we still teaching non-old school shit? Okay. Like, let me tell you right now, Trevor has no problem paying attention in science class, in social studies, uh, gym, you know what I mean? Because he is really into that. Even though he's hyper, he would be fine, but it's not his learning style the way they teach it. So, therefore, he's not able to, or I guess he could maybe in that too, is that he doesn't want to, but he's a kid, all right? As long as they're there learning, I don't understand why they have to do it a common way. Like, dude, my kid is like, he talks to spirit, okay? He sees things. He knows about universal shit. Like, and I know there's YouTube, and he loves YouTube. But yo, my fucking kid has theories based upon how the universe it was created. About soul, about like what the he talked about how he was I wasn't his real mom because he came from someone else. And it's like, what the fuck? And I remember adamantly telling him, blah, blah, blah. Like these kids, he's not your norm. Neither are anybody's kids. I don't understand why it has to be a certain way. But anyway, because I'm getting off topic. Back to the dyscalculia. I wish I would have known about this when they were little. So dyscalculia, which I have too. Struggles with counting, number facts, basic calculations. You forget, blah, blah, blah. You mix them up. That goes along with like like when my one son stutters. Not all the time, and it does have to do with your emotions and your whatever's, your anxieties. And yes, you trip up, and his tics, if he's nervous or anxious or excited, whether it's happy, sad, because it's emotions, blah, 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 then that increases, so you got all these other issues and all these other factors that come into play in just like a fucking 5 minute period. And let me tell you what, these teachers, that's hard. And then you got Trevor going to school, like, oh God, and he's in your class. Oh, you poor thing. I pity you. So anyway, that's why, I just think that if my kid's going to be there, let him just do his like 5 minutes of his shit and be done. Like, if he knows how to do this, why do you make kids do it like this? Anyway, Difficulty with connecting numbers to real life situations, such as like five cookies. Struggles to recognize patterns or sort items by size. That's not an issue for us, but that is definitely an issue because if you're basically you're analyzing, okay? And when you're already analytical, you can't explain to someone how you got that. So like that goes into reading comprehension and the whole English, but it also goes into the math for the dyscalculia. So how do you write how do you write down your answers for a word problem? Like why would you have to rewrite that Sally had five and she gave Ben four so that she has one left? Why do you have to write that out in like word form? Why can't you just write that out in the number sentence? Like why do you have to do all that? I don't understand. But that's hard for a lot of kids. So Trevor, and I'm going to use this as an example because he was on a behavioral plan. It's like my fucking kid wasn't misbehaving. It's like he just couldn't do it because he couldn't do what you wanted him to do. So therefore, he's defiant and he's shutting down because he can't even explain I mean, he could explain to you, but it's so hard. Even I can't explain it. I don't have the words. But all you parents and teachers, you guys understand. So the only reason why I'm making this is just one, so I can vent. Two, that, not a lot of people deal with Tourette's and tics and the comorbids and the this and the that and so please don't despair that it is rough, but it's well worth it, well worth the struggle. And it's been really hard for like the past 3 months or whatever, however long it's been since he's been home on the cyber thing. Uh, you know, man, but I'm doing my job and breaking this shit apart and just so I can make sure that people are aware about all of these different issues, because not everybody would think to look up what the fuck is dyscalculia, or I'm a grown up and it's like, why can't I figure shit out sometimes? I've been retail, I'm a manager. You know, I ran businesses. Why? I'm so smart, but yet, now it all makes sense, with the whole dysphagia, which is actually speaking, you stammer, you stutter, you blah, 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 which then some people have problems writing that out, which is I'm sorry, not the dysphagia. What the fuck is that called again? What is it? Hold on, guys. Yeah, that's the talking dysphagia. Dyscalculia is the math. And, oh my God. What was that? Oh, dysgraphia. Fuck. Dysgraphia. See? See what I mean? See what I mean? And I do take meds for my ADHD, and it does help, but, and then, CBD helps. It's great. Calms you down, But anyway, so back to this. All right, so dyscalculia. Oh, whoa. We can't be doing all that now. Okay, that's better. So, I think we already said this, 5 to 6 school-age children are estimated to have it. 2 out of 3 people don't know what dyscalculia is. I've been in the medical field for like 20 years or something. I'm a mom of 7, okay? And I've been a mom for almost 20 years, okay? So I ain't never. And I have done the whole Head Start for years. I did, like parent mom, whatever in the classroom. I never heard of this shit. So another reason why I'm doing this. So, and then like the dyscalculia, 60% of the children also have dyslexia and also have the issues with numbers when you look at them. Sometimes I write numbers backwards, but occasionally only if I'm like rushing. All right, so the only thing that you can do if like I triggered something for you is talk to a teacher. You can request an evaluation. it's free. And if you have any, like concerns, they have to evaluate your kid. You need to look that up. Here in Pennsylvania, you'll have to just like send them an email or whatever and be like, look, I want my kid evaluated because of blah, 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 blah. All it takes though, too, the teachers really do care and they do pick up on a lot of these issues. So they pick up on it, but just in case, it could be something like this. And if you're just think too, like your kids, what are your issues with like learning, or like, excuse me, like your flaws as far as what was hard for you, because chances are a lot of things are like genetic and whatnot. DNA, that's your energies and stuff. You need to look into that. So anyway, moving on. What was the other part? Oh, that was it. Oh yeah. Just look for a specialist. See if the school has one, if they're available for it to you. Try to get an IEP. At least start suggesting one. Get on the, you know what I say, get on, like I use Tourette's.org, or excuse me, or Churchill Center and School for Disabilities. I look at like the information that's available, the up to date stuff. You can learn so much. You know, you might find out other issues. There might be some tests that just don't work out well for your kid. Your kid's not a good tester. So, I'm going to suggest that Trevor does oral testing occasionally. We also talked about Trevor's going to be in a smaller classroom setting. So I did call today, spoke with that special education person, and they had said about either being in the resource room for 3 subjects, which would be his weaker subjects. So the math, the reading, and the writing. And the only reason why it's his weaker subject is because he can't conform to that Common Core, and he can't write it out. So we're gonna agree to that. I just wanted to get this video out there because I've been thinking about it and I don't want to lose, any time. But it's crazy because Trevor scored so well with all the oral and like the reading and the spelling, but then to actually write it out, he scored so low. There's a lot of issues involved with it, and I think that it's beneficial to look at yourself as an adult, look at your weaknesses and your strengths, because for every bad thing or I'm going to say a down remark or a lesser remark of someone's ability to do stuff, then you need to have 3 positive things. So that goes with that whole labeling thing. I think that it is okay to speak with your kids about their strengths and their weaknesses. Have them involved. Ask them how they like to learn. I learned so much from about my kid from him just being home now all the time and interacting. We use YouTube, so he has these science projects. So yeah, we'll do those, but I let him find out what he likes to do. But it has to be within that subject. And instead of teaching it, like he already knows the basics of the heat and temperature and like the universe stuff, like the solar system, he fucking tells me shit that I don't even know. And then I'm like, really? Like, show me about it. And then I'll go, like, he'll put on YouTube, and then I just go and take it a step further. And it's like, you gotta be shitting me. Yo, my fucking kid knows more stuff than what I do. So when I say that spirituality and parenting and all that shit goes hand in hand, that goes into hand in hand along with the fucking astrology and the tarot cards and my spiritual side and blah 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 blah. Like your fucking kids, like, did you notice that my kids they're gonna be okay as long as I'm still open and honest and talk to them like they're at my level, because they are. So I say your kids and fellow whatevers, we can all learn something from each other. We're all here to teach. We're all in it together to win it. We're all here for experiences. So I think taking the time to look and listen and stuff like that is very, very important. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in again, and that's all I got for you. Deuces.